Challenges that 2020 has thrown at us have been vast, to say the least. While COVID-19 fatigue is real for a lot of people, the thought of the future beyond this crux of the pandemic is equally as scary given the uncertainty. Here to chat to us more about how we should plan for the new normal is psychotherapist Shane Warren. Good morning to you, Shane.
G'day, Alana. G'day, Benjamin. How you doing?
Very
Yeah, we're
well,
doing well.
considering the circumstances. It is a challenging time for all of us. I mean, how do we start to plan for the new normal? Is there a book?
Good question, isn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we could just pick up the how-to manual? But I think
Yes.
one of the things about it is to sort of remember that, all the time, regardless outside of COVID, life changes. So, what we were doing in 2018 wasn't necessarily what we were doing in 2019 anyway. So keep that in mind in its process. But what we have now, I think we have a greater challenge than ever. And that is we're confronted heavily with this kind of, difficulty to have future-focused conversation. So one of the things we used to do is we'd go have coffee with friends or work colleagues. We'd whinge and complain and bitch a little bit. And then we'd talk positively about, oh, I can't wait to go skiing. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to go away for holidays in Bali at Christmas time, that kind of stuff. And because we're lacking that future focus stuff, the brain isn't working quite in the same way. So we're starting to see a lot more now. I think that kind of melancholy, that kind of sense of just everything's a bit of an effort, those kind of situations are very real nowadays. And that's the stuff we've got to be conscious of.
I think that's a key point there, but like for a lot of people out there, they're a little bit concerned with how, or what's the entry point for, reinvention? How do we reinvent ourselves at this time when there's so much uncertainty, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So how do we even get the wheels in motion?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Look, I mean, if you had to ask that question to me in March, I would have said, oh, go and just do some online course and get yourself, the creative clogs cooking over and all that kind of stuff. We've all done that. We've all learned how to make sourdough. We've all learned how to self-improve ourselves and done mindfulness exercises. So now what we actually really need to do is, I think, get a little bit of realistic optimism. And that's actually really about owning the fact being that we are in an uncertain time. Now, when we own that, when we live with that reality, we begin to actually make sort of, in essence, that kind of cognitive connection to the emotion, to what we're feeling in our hearts. And that sort of process. And we know in that situation, when we begin to actually make that connection, we diffuse the controlling power. And the heart stuff can be anxious, it can be frightened, it can be even a little bit sort of depressed, that kind of stuff. So let's actually connect to that and go, okay, what's the best thing to do now? And what we want to look at then is small step stuff. Okay, it's a bit of this is kind of like life coaching 101 model to some point. Having some small little goals to work towards can make a big difference right now, because what you want to keep active and keep alive is just kind of the natural sort of endorphins and the oxytocin and that stuff that happens in the brain when we're actually got something to look forward to. So, I mean, in Melbourne, it's a bit difficult right now. I totally acknowledge that. I'm lucky I'm in Sydney. At least I can still go and have a cup of coffee in person with somebody at this moment in time, right? And that makes a big difference. It really does. So in the world that where Melbourne's sitting, but, in other parts of the world at the moment, we need to look at that and kind of go, well, what's the small stuff? So get excited and allow yourself to get excited about, doing an online sort of, kind of cooking dinner link up with some of your friends. I mean, it seems quite Mickey Mouse. It can seem a little bit sort of, nothing like what it used to be. Don't latch into the actual regret that it's not like going out to dinner with my friends, but it's something different. So allow that excitement to build, that kind of process. Part of what we are doing, I think, too much is we're allowing the grunge of it eat at us, which means that the creative brain, the flexibility stuff is actually kind of feeling very heavy and it's not really there. So find some little bits, just little bits, that kind of process. And when you do feel that it's too much, just stop and sit with it. Don't fight it. Sit with it, enjoy it, be a part of that particular process, engage with people, engage with some friends and run with it. That's what my advice is.
Shane, it's interesting because I would consider myself quite a pragmatic person, and I like to sort of plan things. I've got a lot of attention to detail, assess patterns, see things evolve. I like proof of things. But in this this doom and gloom, like maybe is there a case to be made that maybe we just need to have a bit more faith and a bit more hope and just sort of, hope for the best, or it'll be over soon. Maybe do we need to adopt a bit more of that mindset? Because I think sometimes I go too far down the other road.
Yep, I think, Alana, you're on a really good point there, and I'm really glad you raised it for me, because it's actually right. You've got to learn a bit of that relax and enjoy it sort of stuff, When the crap of life becomes inevitable, sometimes you've got to just learn to relax and enjoy it, and then in that process, I think what we want to do, another little mantra I push a lot now with my patients, is that kind of, hope for the best, but let's manage what presents. That kind of situation. So that's the kind of process, because we are in an uncertain time and we need to own that, accept it, and run with it as best we can. I know I'm not saying this is an easy journey, but we need to allow ourselves just to sort of, relax and enjoy it and just be in the space we're in right now.
Well, Shane, I actually don't know how you got this smart. Literally, it's so amazing to have this conversation with you, because you're making simple things. You're making hard things seem really simple. But for me personally, before we finish up, I'd love to ask you, what about my concerns for like family and friends? I think I'm so isolated here in Victoria, and I'm, stage 4 lockdown, and it's hard for me. But then I also spend quite a lot of time in this downtime worrying about what I can say or what I can do and how I can reach out to the people that matter the most to me.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and we've had some of that messaging, haven't we? Look, if you know somebody and you're feeling concerned for them, or you're just feeling a bit down, reach out. Use the technology that's available now. A little bit of SMS, a little bit of Facebook Messenger, these kind of things. Do connect with that sort of stuff. It's really wonderful. Like just only yesterday afternoon, I was in a conversation with one of my best friends who's in in Portland. That kind of process. And it was just a sort of an afternoon. That kind of process. You just sort of got to keep that dialogue going. It can run for a half hour, an hour if you want. That sort of process. Don't always go with it. So my advice there, Ben, is actually reach out. Don't actually just sort of be silent or frightened, and ask them how they're going. Really look at that, and then yourself. They're going to ask how you are. Don't be the tough guy. Don't be the guy that oh yeah, I'm okay. Be honest. Saying, look, this is really eating at me. It really is.
Be real.
I'm a bit of a doubt. Yeah, that's exactly it.
We don't need too much prompting on that front. We usually call each other every day for a serious event, so that's good. But thank you so much, Shane. You've really helped us with all this insight. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning.
No worries, guys. You take care. All right, have a good day.